Everybody loves crayfish. Anybody that grew up near a creek knows what a crawdad is. And so I basically have the dream job of every 10-year-old in West Virginia.
Zach Loughman has made a storied career as a naturalist and a scientist by not letting his inner 10-year-old boy grow up. He has discovered, identified, and named 10 new crayfish species here in North America, and shared his fascination for the species with countless students, including current West Liberty graduate student Audrey Sykes.
His classes are fantastic. He's easily one of the most passionate and enthusiastic and memorable professors I've ever had. And the way he feels about crayfish is inspiring.
He is very passionate about what he does. I'm sure that you've seen this. You can hear it in his voice. He has this booming voice that you can hear him teaching down the hall. But honestly, that reflects how passionate he is about what he does.
West Liberty University Chair of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, Karen Kettler, isn't the only one who recognizes Loughman's passion for the natural world. His research has been featured in Science Magazine, National Geographic, and in the neuroscience publication Neuron, among others. While he's built a name for himself through crayfish research, he says he was more of a snake person growing up. And you can tell he still really loves snakes because he has a bunch of them in his office. His fascination with crayfish stemmed from a conversation with his advisor while getting a master's.
I was driving home from my thesis site with Dr. Pauly, and he said to me, I've been watching you. You really like natural history. You don't have to study snakes. You study something that nobody else has ever really put much effort into. And there have definitely been people that have studied crayfish, but nobody's really dug into their natural history and ecology intensively from the perspective of a naturalist. And it was just a question of timing. And the next thing you knew, I was spending way more time reading about crawdads than I was snakes.
Loughman says his career as a professor and biologist has stemmed from a lifelong curiosity with the natural world.
Naturalists, and that's what I would classify myself as first and foremost, we have a very different perspective, it seems, of the natural world, in that when we see animals, we just immediately start asking questions. When I see a snake or I see a crayfish now, especially a crayfish species I haven't seen before, my initial response to that is not, what is my hypothesis going to be? It's literally, wow, that's cool. And then I immediately follow that up with, well, what species are you?
Dean of the College of Sciences at West Liberty University and one of Loughman's former professors, Robert Kreisberg thinks this insatiable curiosity is what brings Loughman so much success.
He is extremely good in the field. I mean, he didn't get to where he is. I'm going to say he's probably the #1 research biologist for crayfish, and there are quite a few of them now. He's known worldwide in the field, so,
Well, Zach Loughman is a very talented academician, but he's also very animated and very lively, very easy to talk to, but incredibly passionate about his work with the crayfish. And what I've soon discovered and heard about his reputation, and not just his reputation locally or in the state, his reputation extends nationally and internationally.
The reputation that West Liberty University President Stephen Greiner mentions is not only for Loughman as a field biologist, but also as an educator. Dr. Loughman was named West Virginia Professor of the Year in 2014. He's been teaching graduate and undergraduate students for 11 years at West Liberty. He says he loves that almost more than he loves looking for crawdads in the stream.
Whenever I get outside and I'm teaching, or I'm doing the field work, or I'm bouncing down a dirt road in a van full of college kids, that's my job to teach and turn them into the next generation of conservation biologists. That is nothing but wonderful.
Loughman takes students all over the region, from the northern panhandle, where he found a red crayfish with bright blue features, to the southern coal fields, where he discovered a new kind of crayfish. This is where he describes the fun that you sometimes get to have while naming crayfish.
I described a crayfish that's endemic to the Tug River, which is shared between Kentucky and West Virginia, and then there's a tiny little bit of it that makes its way into Virginia. And I described a species of crayfish there and gave it the Latin name Cambarus hatfieldi. So named it after the Hatfields of infamy. And then you get to, do a little bit of jabbing. I'm a West Virginian, so of course I'm going to name it Hatfield Eye instead of McCoy Eye. But it does cross the river into Kentucky, which is kind of fun.
Rain or shine, day or even in the middle of the night, when a good flashlight can illuminate the beady eyes of a crayfish, Loughman is ready and willing to lead people into streams and fish around for crawdads. For West Virginia Public Broadcasting, I'm Corey Nollinger in West Liberty.
From West Virginia Public Broadcasting.